Raptors Show on the Sportsnet Radio Network. Make sure you find the Raptors Show wherever you listen to podcasts and subscribe. And please rate and review the show. A reminder, we're streaming live on Sportsnet's YouTube channel. Airing live on Sportsnet 360, Monday to Friday from 2 to 3 p.m. I'm your host, William Liu. I'm joined with producer and co-host Alex Wong. And we are joined on the line for the first segment, friend of the program, Savannah Hamilton. Sav, what's going on? Why can't you see us in studio?
Oh, because, I got to work the game tonight, yo. So I got to be all prepared. Got to do my hair, my makeup, all that stuff.
Okay, got you.
We had a bubble tea ready for you and everything, man. But
no, you did not.
We actually didn't.
Actually,
but Sav, you've had a bubble tea before, right?
Oh, yeah. I've had like almost every bubble tea in the city, I think, now.
No, this is like a LeBron James fact check. LeBron's like, I've tried every bubble tea in the city of Toronto during those LeBronto years. I was like, Chat Time, Cocoa.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yo, I got it like a top list, yo. Like Chat Time is like the McDonald's of bubble tea in Toronto, but we can get into the thick of things later.
Okay,
got you. So she's been to the innovation bar.
A lot of potential sponsors right there.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, Sav. Before we get on to some of the Raptors storylines, because last week we did this whole thing where we put together a bingo card. And we were like, here's what to watch for when you're watching a Raptors game. I feel like we got to give people like a little bit more reason to tune in and just watch. So I'm going to rank some of the storylines with you later on. But first and foremost, we had Devlin on earlier this week, and we asked him, hey, how was the Raptor City Social? Because we had just assumed that he was going to be there or that he had been there. And then he told us, he's like, yeah, no, I actually went to Hamilton with my wife instead. So we still don't have an actual report, but you I know for sure were at the social. So I'm gonna have to ask you, Sav, how was the Raptor City Social?
Well, okay. The official word on it was a lot of fun, as expected. My last time I went to City Social was 2019, so that was obviously a lot of fun then too. I had a cookie printed out of me and Serge Ibaka.
What?
Oh
and
yeah,
then,
they had this during
they had this during
the finals too, I believe. Like there was a pre-finals party at Real Sports, which I believe you would have attended.
I'm not surprised.
And they had
I skip a
cookies.
lot of things.
You could take a photo, and then there was a cookie. I think it's still in my freezer. I'll bring it.
They
next
didn't
week.
have cookies this year though.
Oh,
Okay.
No cookies this year.
No cookies,
Oh.
no printed
So that
cookies.
was a little
it's been a
disappointing.
disappointing year.
It was
it's
still
been
a lot of fun.
disappointing
Of
year.
course, they had like the video game station with Scotty Barnes, and he was playing there with a lot of fans.
Oh, that's
Nice.
awesome.
They had like a lot of photo booth stations, of course. They had like the walkway. They replicated it from the Scotiabank Arena walkway, where you walk in through like a player entrance.
Oh, like a
basically, and they take
tunnel.
A snapshot of you,
Yeah.
almost like a fit. Exactly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like the fit check. Yeah.
That's
So that
amazing.
was kind of cool. Took a few photos there with my friends. And then of course, like the best part of the night, I think it's the open bar. Like
Oh, okay.
All right. Damn.
open bar
Mm.
and just good vibes, good music, type of. It's a good time.
Yeah. Did Neo show up by any chance, or?
He did not
Oh,
show
okay.
up this time.
Mm.
No, that you gotta talk to Nick Nurse about that one.
I trust me. I tried to ask him how he secured Neo to come to his charity event, and he said, "Don't ask me." He actually kind of sounded like the Batman that day. I don't know. His voice was a little grisly.
it's been looking like Gotham this year.
But no,
gosh.
we got to see at least that one Neo concert, which was still one of my highlights of the season.
love-
Sav.
so
I
this-
hope
yeah.
it was for you too.
This was the Nick Nurse Foundation event. I know Savannah was there as well, and I love how we keep referring to it as the Neo concert.
The Neo concert. Oh yeah, it was also a Nick Nurse event too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shouts to Nick.
That's fair.
CK was there that night too.
That's right.
Mm.
This is
Yep.
part of Alex's season-long exploration of.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with this game.
Wait, did I
Anyway.
say?
Yeah.
And,
I wasn't really familiar with your game.
No, he wasn't. No, he really wasn't. But now he is. And we're all good. All right, Sav. Well, as you mentioned, Raptors Pistons tonight. I would love to hear on a scale of 1 to 10 your excitement level for this matchup.
Obviously a 10 out of 10. Come
Obviously.
on, Will.
Mm,
There we go.
What else would it be?
maybe a 9. Yeah.
Is there
I was
any-
at a 9.
Is there any storyline you're looking forward to today? Either of you? Raptors can sweep the Pistons this year. That's something.
Yeah, I'm hoping the Raptors can either stay in 9th or stay in 9th. Yeah. With a
Wait,
win
is
or a
it
loss.
another one of those days?
It's possible, yeah. Either way, they'll just be in 9th. No, I think they're one game back of the Hawks. There's
But they don't have the
listen,
tiebreaker against the Hawks.
The play-in tournament's going to come down the stretch here in the last 9 games. Like as much as we've been frustrated, about the Raptors up and down season and things like that. If you're just focused on the present right now, I think the present is getting to that 7-8 game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think so for sure.
Mm.
I mean, if you want to look in terms of like tonight's storylines exactly, obviously there's a few Canadians in this one. Corey Joseph, we love him.
Right, of
But
course.
then there's also Eugene Omarui. He
Mm.
played earlier this season for
Oh, he
OKC.
torched us.
He did a lot of damage
Yeah,
on the
I
Raptors
remember
last
that
time we
one.
played them in OKC, actually. He's a guy, I believe he's also from Rexdale, so Delano knows him. So he he's going to be a storyline probably tonight if he gets some reputable minutes or nothing. But and then there's Cade Cunningham and how he's been involved with the team, but like off the court. So kind of like focusing on like that storyline in terms of like what he's been able to do on a leadership standpoint, even though he's injured. And he's a rookie, so he's still super young, obviously. So I guess not technically a rookie anymore, but he just hasn't really played a whole lot.
Mm.
And then so there's a few things going into tonight's game, but for the most part, like I think the whole storylines right now are focused around standings and just how high can they, what's that playing going to look like, and also not slipping out of a play-in spot either, right? So tight.
Oh yeah, no, listen, I think look, listen, all these are must wins. I've said this for like the last
Since
3
game one.
months.
Yeah, since game
Okay,
one.
fine,
Yeah.
fine. The
Yeah.
last 5 months.
If you know, Will. Yeah.
But no, seriously though, I've just been made aware that the Bulls, by the way, who are only a half game behind Toronto, no matter how many times the Raptors beat the Bulls, there's just a half game against Toronto, no matter what. They're 8-4 in the Patrick Beverley era.
Oh.
So we got to really hold them
Pat
down.
loves being back.
No,
He loves
Pat's
being
having
back.
a great time. I'm a big fan of Patrick Beverley this season for some reason.
Yeah.
Chicago Bulls, Pat Bev, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. The Lakers one, not so much. Although he did have that great moment with the camera. But no, that's what I'm saying. Like all these games are must win, right?
Yes.
I mean, Atlanta's playing tomorrow. You have Chicago's playing tonight against Portland. Portland's been really sliding. Like again, you really need to continue to make up this race, and so every game is really important. And look, listen, obviously we're going to watch every single game, but I do sense from the reactions online and sort of seeing sort of the lack of enthusiasm about the Raptors, that I think we do need to sort of create some storylines for people to watch for, like
Let's
a little
do it.
Raptors viewing guide. Like we had the little
Let's do
bingo
it.
card.
Yeah.
Now we have storylines. So Sav, I'm going to go through some of these storylines, and again, you're just going to give me a score out of 10, an honest score out of 10, not the 10 out of 10 against the Pistons tonight. And we're going to go through their storyline. So the first one is the Raptors fighting for the play-in race. Your excitement level out of 10.
Fighting for the play-in race right now. I mean, it's exciting in the fact that like, okay, it's competition. There's something to be said there, but I think that maybe we're spoiled as Raptors fans a little bit, and like
100%.
just media that covers the team that made a playoff spot. So like a play-in just doesn't move the needle a whole lot as much as if we secured a 6 or even a 5 position in the East.
I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, like I mean, at the same time, there's something to be said for like that's still exciting basketball because if they make the play in and then they get to the off spot, like it's entertaining at the end of the day. So I think out of like to make a play in spot at this point, I'm gonna be realistic a bit more. I'd say it's about a 7 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
Just
All right.
because the expectations were higher and they were better in previous years results wise. But I think with Jakob, they've found a lot more energy and a bit more of a solution. I kind of wish that Jakob was with the team sooner or even in the beginning of the season or something like that, because he would have definitely boosted them, I think, a fair bit.
Yeah, I got a question about Jakob in this list later on. So we'll talk more about Yak then. Alex, your excitement level out of 10. Raptors fighting for the play-in race.
Yeah,
fighting for their life, really.
It's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Come on, man.
I think it's
Is this the company man one?
It's a very exciting. It's a
Poo-poo
very
platter.
exciting.
Alex is the voice of the people.
It's a very exciting race. As I look at it, the Nets have fallen to number 7 on a 5-game losing streak. A tough loss yesterday against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Was able to watch the end of that.
Did Utah get dunked on again?
No, but a big 3 from Okoro. That
was a big one.
Yeah, the Atlanta
Why
Hawks.
you say his name all Japanese?
The Atlanta Hawks have been around 500 for I believe 2 months. So they're 36 and 37.
Well, officially they slid to. There are still only one game.
Still
under
one
500.
game. They've been around
My
one game, I
goodness.
think, for the last 2 months, and
All right.
and the Raptors are where they're at, and you've got the Bulls. And listen, Yeah, we've got 3 teams under 500 here. So, you know, the 10 out of 10 was not real. It's 5 out of 10. But I think I think no, I think right now I think the lack of excitement is in that the play-in teams are actually locked in. Like you can argue the Miami, Brooklyn fighting for the 6 and 7, but if you look compared to the West, like the West standings are ridiculous right now. Like, you know, Phoenix is in 4th with 34 losses, and then you go to Utah in 12th with 37 losses.
Right.
And there's 4 teams at 36 and 37 right now.
Yeah.
So like the standings are actually changing. Like these teams like an OKC, Lakers, New Orleans, Dallas, Minnesota, all of these teams are falling in and out of the play-in every night, depending on the game. Whereas in the East, you know, like we joke, but it's like Toronto is going to be 8, 9, or 10.
Yes.
At this point, right?
No,
so
the ceiling is fighting.
There's
for
not
8.
as much of movement in the East. So the East play-in is not as exciting right now.
Okay, that's fair. That's a good point. By the way, yeah, 5 or 6 teams in the West right now at 37 losses. It's kind of wild to look at. All right, next one. Excitement level. All right, again, if the Raptors get through the play-in and get to the first round, your excitement level, the Raptors being a hard out in the first round, which Nick Nurse said earlier this week at practice. Just predicting ahead of time that they're going to be out.
He said that it would be a hard out?
He said that they're going to be a hard out. Yeah.
He didn't say which round, so it could be more than one round, but you know.
Okay.
The
I
out
was
is
going to
coming.
say, wow, okay.
And it'll be hard.
So if they secure a playoffs position out of the play-in tournament and they're facing the Bucks or the Celtics, but most likely probably the Bucks at this point, I would actually say, like, anytime you get a chance to play in a playoff series, there is some excitement to it, even if it is not the results that you want, even if it, you know, ends up being a bit of a sweep or something like that. You're still playing against the NBA's best, and you can still say that you're a part of, you know, like that tournament. So definitely I'm going to give that like a higher point scale compared to just being in the play-in, like, you know, and you never also know, because, you know, there's times where, you know, top teams, they're you know, take their foot off the gas and they let a game, maybe even 2 games slip. And like that's completely, and we also know that like we've seen, you know, some exciting Raptors basketball in previous years, especially like, you know, OG hitting that last minute shot over Boston in the G League, in the NBA bubble. And then like there's just tons of moments like that when you start thinking about playoff basketball. So I would say it's about an 8.5 out of 10 for me if they make the first round playoffs. Despite the results, like it's still playoff basketball, and that's always still exciting for me and something to look forward to as media.
Oh, I agree with that for sure.
Yeah,
Alex?
you know, I'll go with the same number as Sav.
Okay.
You know, I think for me,
all right,
you know, you look at the just entirety of the season and, you know, the inconsistencies and all the stuff that we've talked about. What we can really salvage from this season is seeing them get through the play-in, like Sav mentioned, get into a first round matchup. You know, right now it looks like maybe most likely would be Milwaukee. And like you mentioned, like seeing how this team will perform in that environment, right? In a 1 week, 2 week period, you know, if they're hard out, it's 1 week. No, if they're hard out, it's 1.5 weeks.
If it's hard, it's 2. If it's easy, it's 1.
If it's a hard out, it's 2 weeks. But like seeing if we can take any positives out of how they perform in that environment, right?
Yeah,
because you want to, you hope by then they're fully healthy, because even last year against the Sixers, the Scotty Barnes injury was really unfortunate. You know, having him go out in game 1 and then not come back until near the end of the series.
It was exciting, by the way, that he had like 18. He had like a near triple-double in his first ever playoff game. That was exciting.
Yeah. And I think to that point, it's like you want to see Scotty in that environment. Let's see what the starting lineup with Jakob looks like. You know, let's see
Scotty Barnes.
Let's see what Gary and Precious, assuming they're in their bench roles, like what they look like, you know, with another year of playoff experience on this roster, and see, even if they are hard out, if there are things that you can take away that'll inform your decisions in the offseason.
Got you. Well, okay. I'm sensing that we're building an excitement, so I got something actually exciting. Sorry, did I say actually? My bad. Next one, OG Anunoby award race. Okay, so he is obviously in contention for an all-defensive team. Not quite sure the defensive player of the year is going to happen for him, but you know, definitely should be in consideration for all defensive team. He hasn't won one yet in his career, which I do think that it is about time that he gets one. He is still leading the league in both total steals, which is very impressive considering he missed time, and he's leading the league in steals per game. He, I believe, be only the second Raptor ever to win a category league wide. So Anunoby, staying in the race for all defense. Sav, your excitement level for this?
What's interesting is that I almost expect it. So I don't think I'm as excited as I should be. It's like I know it's kind of like a bit of a wrench answer because like I guess if he wins like defensive player of the year, 10 out of 10, right? Like that's amazing. That'd be incredible.
That's not happening.
But it's probably it's unlikely just because of where the Raptors, fell to this season in the standings. But if he makes it all defensive team, like you can't tell me like who could you go up to and be like, oh, I'm surprised. Like no one's surprised. So I think because there's the expectation that he is going to make it, and like even Coach Nurse talked about it. Even Nurse should be the defensive player of the year, despite that. But I think that for me, the excitement level is probably around a 7 out of 10. Like I'd love to see him get it. I want to see him get it 100%, but I also expect to see him get it. So it's not a surprise if he does. It would be a bit more of a surprise if he better once again just because of the standings and where they fell, but yeah, so if he gets the defensive player, then that's a 10, but if he gets all defensive team, that's a 7.
This is like if I asked Alex's parents, they'd be excited for getting an A on his report card, and they'd be like, I expect to get an A. There's no excitement in this.
Hi Mom,
Alex?
Hope you're streaming this on your Cathay Pacific flight back to Toronto tomorrow.
Safe flight home.
Safe flight home. I'll see you there. I'll be in long-term parking maybe. I don't know.
No,
or I'll just drive
just
around.
Circle, man. Please circle. It's your mom. Man.
I am.
Don't
Listen,
make her walk to
I'm
the
in a
long-term
good enough
parking.
spot. I can pay like whatever 20 parking.
Oh, okay.
No, like to go pick her up.
Look at this guy paying the airport parking.
Yo, you got a 20 for me?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. You don't. No, I think for me, 7 out of 10 as well.
Also a 7. Okay, all right, man. Pocket sevens.
Pocket sevens here. I think for OG to make that all defensive team would be a huge reward for him, not just to recognize what he's done this year, but just to really make up in a way of the recognition that he's lacked in his career, right? I think
OG and Ginobili.
And I love that we have a drop for every topic now. Shouts to Derek. But I think we always talk about how during the championship season and even the post-championship year in 2020, the Raptors were docked points because there were too many great individual defenders on the team. Yes. And collectively, they were really good as a 5-man unit. And somehow that led the voters to not recognize any of them, which doesn't seem fair in retrospect. So, OG has clearly, especially of late, I think really shown that he's one of the best defensive players in the league. And for people that have watched OG, in Toronto, we know what OG brings to the table on defense. So I hope he gets that recognition on the all defensive team because he definitely deserves it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That one's wasn't as I guess it wasn't as exciting as I anticipated.
I think you're just gonna have to drop the excitement. I think you're gonna have to drop the excitement theme at this point.
Yeah, 7-6. Okay, all right, fine. What about this
We're
one?
all scarred, okay?
Yeah.
Fred's post-trade deadline redemption. Last 10 games, Fred is averaging 21.5 points, 9.2 assists, 2.5 steals, shooting 44% from the field and 39% from three. Sav, Fred coming back to all-star form, at least recently. Fred VanVleet is Rice.
He's actually Rice,
essentially back to Rice level. Your excitement for that?
You guys say a lot of things that I cannot respond to, eh?
I mean, y'all eat rice.
Yeah, I mean, I love rice. Don't get me wrong, rice and peas in particular. But
we should clip that out of context. Holy.
I was gonna. Well, I mean, is it though? No, like he's great. Like he's been playing a lot better, that's for sure. And you like to see that. I think my excitement level for that is definitely more of an 8.5 as well there. Just once again, like the reason why like it's not a 10 because there is a level of expectation when you are already an all-star. Like you should be playing like that.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But at the same time, there was a chunk of time during the season that he was out of rhythm and then a little injured and then, a lot of little knickknacks here and there. And so now seeing him kind of get back into his form again, like, okay, like, he's contributing and you see him finding guys in their spots. Like when he was out, you got to see that OG was really impacted offensively because OG just didn't look like he was in his correct like spots on offense or just wasn't getting the same shots off that he normally does. And now that Fred's back in, like the ball is a bit more facilitated and just a bit more structured. That's ultimately what it is. On top of that, I think a big reason why Fred VanVleet's playing so well is because he's just playing so well off of Jakob because that pick and roll is gravy now. Like it's amazing. So so they have a great chemistry there, and I think Fred's just taking advantage of that and just finding his own rhythm back again, and you just love to see it. So definitely an 8.5.
Alex?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 8.5.
Alex, stop copying
there
me.
are other numbers other
well,
than.
it's not my fault that I'm going after Savannah. Like I've had
Okay.
these numbers thought
Gotcha,
up
gotcha,
before,
gotcha,
but
right.
you know, this seems
Well,
like
if you
you're
guys
putting
super fixated on
no, you're
85.
I'm gonna put like
you're putting me in a
7-2.
difficult you're putting me in a difficult position, you know. No, but I think okay, why I'm having this like have this rank this high too is like, listen, Fred's had an up and down season. Like struggled early in the year. We talked about his shot selection, you know, the other night. The other night wasn't his best game against Indiana.
No, it's pretty
But when
bad.
you look at the overall numbers and you zoom out like you have, especially, you know, with Jakob, you can see a difference in Fred's play. And I think you know, maybe excitement is not the right word, but I'm more interested in this because how Fred performs the rest of the season, how Fred performs in the play-in/playoffs, this is gonna be one of the biggest conversations for the rest of the year heading into the summer. Because he's going to be a free agent, and you know he's already made it clear that you know he's going to command a certain level of money, and you know that this is going to be a dominant conversation, you know, heading into free agency. So I think depending on how he plays,
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see, because I know the fans have been very down on Fred this season, and it'll be interesting to see what that conversation leads to as we head to free agency.
That's fair. I'm definitely digging the 9.2 assists. I think the playmaking has definitely helped because of the fact that Jakob Poeltl has joined the team and, you know, slinging high-low passes every game and shooting 70% on layups. He does get dunked on once per game, but is also having a better impact on defense overall. Your excitement level watching Jakob Poeltl shoot 70% on layups.
Ooh, wait, is this for me or for Alex? Because Alex is just gonna copy my number.
You know what, Alex? You go first this time.
Oh, Sav, what were you thinking in terms of a?
Yo,
No,
relax.
I'm not gonna.
number.
No, you know what, Alex? You
there-
go
is
first.
there a
I'm not gonna
range?
give you my number.
No, I think for me, I'm gonna go with an 8.5
Why
out
do
of
you guys
10.
love 8.5 so much? man?
Yeah.
Just use
It was the bar set in my household growing up, so it's a familiar number for me. No, I've expressed this. Like, I'm very excited about the fact that the Raptors went and acquired Jakob Poeltl, and I think we've talked about all this about how we would have been way more excited if the move was perhaps made at a different time, maybe at the start of the season if a move was available, and we would have had Jakob for the entire year. Like, clearly Jakob has brought so many positives to it, and if anything, it's more frustrating to look at the rest of the team and realize that it hasn't translated into this like huge catapult in the standings or in the wins and losses, right? Like we've seen these glimpses, and you know, I've been studying the net ratings of the 5-man units of the Raptors, you know, really closely throughout the season, and you know, Jakob.
What site you go to define that?
Jakob has been a huge boost for the starting lineup, and you know, we assume they make the trade. They're able to bring him back this summer, although I think, you know, the price is definitely going up on Jakob based on the value that he's bringing to the team. But no, I'm excited to have Jakob in the fold, not just for this season, but beyond. Like, I think it was a good trade for the team.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to say, so this is actually why I wanted Alex to go first, because my number is different than his now. It's a 9 for me.
Yeah,
It's
I'm gonna
a
go.
9.
Yeah, let's move mine up to 9 as well.
Oh, get out of
Yeah,
here.
Go with
okay.
that as well.
It's a 9 for me because yeah, I think he's just brought in so much life, I think, honestly, life back into the team. Not saying that they didn't have it before, but like I think he just kind of moved the needle, honestly. Like, he was like slot right into that starting position, no problem. I feel like he's playing for something. Like, I think he's playing with a purpose, like an individual like motivation in terms of just, you know, he wants to, you know, show something to prove, maybe. Like, I think there's a reason. I don't think it's a coincidence that he's wearing number 19, is what I'm saying. Like, I can't say for sure. Like, he hasn't talked about it. He doesn't want to talk about it.
Oh, that'd be
But come
be
on, you're wearing
fire.
number 19.
Yo,
So,
I never
Can,
realized.
I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Can Kawhi
in that
come back and
sense.
take number 19 from him? We could make
Yo.
that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, nobody would be mad. But yeah, so I think that I think he has some added fuel in the tank because of that, and we've seen that translate to the court. But the best part about Jakob is that he's not doing the most. Like, he's
No, he
doing
really is
what
playing his
he's
role.
supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
He's a glue guy, but better, because he brings that rim protection. He has 70% around the rim. He's getting his other teammates involved. He has no problem being a guy that could pass out of the high post, but then also like look to score when it's available for himself too. So he's almost, in a sense, like an added playmaker, but in the sense of like just like scanning the floor, and just a very high IQ player in the game. It's funny because you know, it was I believe it was Denver's coach that was talking about Jakob and just how underrated he is, and just the fact that like when you watch him play, he might be, and this is his words, not mine, one of the most vanilla players in the league, but it gets the job done.
You calling him
Like,
Vanilla Ice?
maybe.
Oh,
Just because like, it's that traditional like pump fake and then go back up strong. And there's nothing like too, shockingly fast pace about him, but it's just that it's the bread and butter. It just gets the job done. And you're right. Like, I think, Alex, to your point, like, I think a lot of us are thinking like, well, what if we had him sooner? And like, how would things be different and stuff like that? But we can't play the what if game. And we're just glad that he's here now and that he's playing with a purpose and it's translating and making the team a lot better.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, last one. Scotty finishing the season strong. So obviously he remains out with the wrist injury. So hopefully he's able to come back soon. Because I felt like his play had steadied a lot more of late. He had 22 straight games of double-digit scoring. It only got snapped because he had to leave the game with injury against the Bucks. Your excitement on seeing Scotty finish the season strong, because obviously it's been up and down season for him as well. But I really think that basically from the new year onward, he's been a lot more consistent.
Am I going first this time?
yeah, go ahead, Savannah.
Okay, Alex, I'll give you this number for you. It's 8 for me.
Not
actually.
0.5?
No, it's just a solid 8,
Just a
a
solid
good
8.
standard
All right.
8.
All right.
Yeah, look, a nice, well-rounded 8. And I think that's because, okay, when you come off Rookie of the Year, there's so much expectations. And I think in the beginning of the season, I don't know if it was the pressure. I don't know if it was just being a little out of rhythm. It just didn't feel like he was playing like himself normally. But, it's interesting because I've had conversations with him on what can change on a night-to-night basis sometimes, because sometimes he can go off for like, a 20-point game, and then other games he's maybe having like 5 points, 9 points, like under double digits. And he told me that he plays very matchup driven actually. So like he told me if a center is on him, then he's going to be more prone to on offense to like be a screener and get his teammates open and like try to get assists done. And he takes so much pride in also his passing. But then if a guard is on him, he feels the need to go downhill and attack him, almost like that mismatch, and use that to his advantage. And that's when you see the 20-point nights. And I've kind of been monitoring that throughout the course of the season. And that was a conversation that him and I had back in like December.
Right.
So I have noticed that that tends actually to be the case. I don't have any like hard facts or nothing on like what that stat line would be against like guys like, a Brook Lopez. But I do see that like, yeah, he loves attacking when a guard's on him. And I think like the second half of the season, he's just been a lot more consistent. I think that's what honestly like you want to build off of your rookie year. I don't think you want to make another incredible jump in your sophomore year. I think sometimes it's just about, can you just repeat what you did last year? Can you be consistent and just show why you got rookie of the year by just literally doing the exact same thing, but maybe just a little bit better. And so I think like what he's showing now is a little bit better. It's like that slight step, maybe even half step above what his rookie of the year thing was. I feel like he's a lot more under control now as well in his game. And that's something that like, he still had a sense of poise last year, but this year it feels a bit more calm energy rather than rushed or a little too excited at times or something like that. But so I'm giving him a solid 8. I really like his turnaround and the fact that he didn't let the pressure get to him for like, the entire season or something like that. Like, I think it's just like a good solid second half.
Yeah, I think especially with Scotty too, like at the start of the season, you felt like the lows got quite low sometimes to the point where it was like, it's strange that a player that talented, that good isn't impacting the game as much. And then I thought I haven't really had that thought at all in the last like 2-3 months of watching him. And I think that, finding that stability is a big part of getting through seasons and being successful through them. It's just unfortunate that he's injured right now, but he'd been playing great and he was the Iron Man. Alex, your final ranking on this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 5 out of 10 for this one.
A 5?
So let me explain here.
Why?
No, listen. I think Scotty's one of those players, and I think all of the things that you guys said were right. But for me, I'm not as excited about the rest of this season, but I'll be more excited for next season because I think what we have seen from Scotty, I think definitely agree that the play, there's been an uptick, in the consistency of his play, and we continue to see kind of these flashes where he can dominate stretches of games at a time. But we also see like, oh, things that he can add to his game, right? Whether it's the mid-range jumper or just really expanding some of that, offensive arsenal that he has. And like, I think all of that is going to come with another offseason, like with another summer of, improving on his game. So I feel like we know kind of what Scotty is at this point. I'm more excited to see what Scotty's going to be next year, what he's going to add.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. That's
Fair
fair.
enough.
That's fair. All right. Well, very similar grades until Alex went off the board, but that's all good.
Yo, my ratings were so chaotic.
That's fine, man. Savannah, appreciate you. All right. I will see you down in the arena. And Alex is a game time decision. That's
Family obligations.
Oh, right. He's actually picking up his mom.
Personal reasons.
No, he's picking up his mom from the airport. It's
no,
a nice
that's
thing.
tomorrow, but today there's other family obligations.
Okay, you know
Why'd
what?
you gotta make me clarify?
Asian families very, very messy, and you can listen to the banter pod for more details. All right, Savannah, we'll see you later.
Okay, thank you, man. Bye.
All right, we are going to take that break. I'm your host, Will Lou, and you've been listening to the Raptors Show on the Sportsnet Radio Network. Welcome back to the Raptors Show on the Sportsnet Radio Network. I'm your host, Wim Lou. Continue to be joined by producer and co-host Alex Wong. Alex, we have some shout-outs since it's a Friday.
Yeah, no, I just want to shout out all our guests who helped us this week. Paul Jones, Blake Murphy. I believe that was the unofficial Blake Murphy Tuesday finale, right? TBD.
I think if the Raptors make it into the first round, Blake will come back. But
okay,
in
so
the meantime,
I have to root for the Raptors to make it.
The part of the play-in is also you get Blake Murphy Tuesday.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's up my play-in tournament excitement level to an 11.
Another
to an 11.
Yeah.
Matt Devlin, of course. And
Shout out to him.
Michael Grange checking in, obviously Savannah.
Yeah.
Just want to shout outs to listener Rob in Brantford for
All right.
helping us make a donation to our event next week.
Fantastic.
Yeah, very, very generous. Shout out to Elaine Kwan. Make sure you check out the Banter Pod.
Mhm.
That's on the podcast feed right now.
Yeah, no, it was
that's
a
it.
good episode, man. Had a great time.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Also, during that banter pod, I had discussed whether I was going too hard on the React pods, or
Right.
if
Because you got a lot of reception to your earlier
yeah.
React Pod this week after the Pacers.
Yes, and I think my question was, do people want them to be more just like straightforward rather than like, I don't know, less
Chairman Lou.
Yeah, less Chairman Lou, less
Goodness.
excitement,
Yeah, we've already gotten some
Less
emails
emotion.
on that, so we can
more
save
straightforward,
that.
more
so-
straight ball talk.
Yeah, email us your React Pod feedback, info@stephenlebron.com,
Mm.
or prefer just DM Will. Yeah, what else? Let's go around the NBA. Well, first thing is, did you hear about this new nickname for Lou Dort that has made its way around social media this week after he locked up former Toronto Raptor champion Kawhi Leonard?
So yeah, the nickname is the Torture Chamber.
So bad.
I feel like that's been out there for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's my
Yeah.
first time hearing it, and I never want to hear it again.
Okay. All right.
Are you out of 10? How is this nickname to you?
No, Lou Dort is like it's such a cool name because it's like one of the few names that aren't Chinese names that only have 2 syllables in them.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Was not on the same wavelength as you.
You know, like
Happy Friday.
most Chinese names are like 2 syllables or 3.
Will Lou.
Yeah. Or sure, yeah, but
Yeah.
even my Chinese name is only 3.
Right. Tianjin Pappy.
That's 4.
That's his middle name.
But yeah, no.
Did I
also-
pronounce his name right?
Yeah, that's not bad actually.
Yeah. You like the Torture Chamber.
No, the Torture Chamber is fine though. You don't like it? What don't you like about it?
It just looks funny when you look at the words.
Well,
Like
it does have like
Torture.
It does have like a blue
No, but
squiggly line underneath on the Google Doc.
why
we
is it
use.
Torture? Anyways, the nickname
Torture,
drought.
the torture chamber.
I know. I understand the reference.
Okay, so then why did you
Thanks
ask
for
why?
No, but it's.
All right, fair.
This is as bad as like Slim Reaper.
Yeah, well, it's not as bad as the Servant. The Servant.
Oh
is
my
the
God, I
ultimate-
forgot about that one.
That
too.
one's terrible.
Well, no, this continues the NBA nickname drought.
Yeah.
We have not had a good nickname.
And
in a
when
while.
I saw you put this one line in here, new terrible nickname alert, Lou Dort, aka the Torture Chamber, I decided, okay, let me just double check on Basketball Reference because they will list like players' nicknames on there, and
Mhm.
sometimes they're fairly obscure. And I went through all the Raptors ones.
Yeah.
So this is all that was ever listed. I mean, there was like Steady Freddy and like Spicy P, but like, I mean,
Sure.
come on, man. So the actual Raptors nicknames on Basketball Reference. Number 1's Swatter Boy.
Who is that?
For
For
Chris,
Boucher.
For Chris Boucher. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a 7. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
Adam Sandler reference.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Not bad. I just feel like no one ever has used that for him. But,
No. Yeah.
I guess it's an option.
Shouts
Maybe the
to,
next time you
shouts
see
to Ennis
Chris,
Esmer, Spice and Dice. That's a good one.
Spice and
before we
Dice did
forget.
not make it onto Basketball
Yeah,
Reference,
before
but
we
maybe we
forget.
can petition.
Okay.
The next one, Thaddeus Johnson. This is from his time with the Bulls.
Yeah. I'm gonna
The
have to
Bulls
give
were
it-
hurting a
yeah.
lot.
So
for-
it was good
for
at the
point guard
time. A
play.
7 at the time. A 5 now. Yeah.
Okay,
'Cause
right.
It's a DMP right now.
I haven't seen a lot of Thad recently.
Yeah, he's been on the DMP vibes.
The next one, the People's Champ.
Who is the people's champ?
I'll give you 3 guesses on who's the People's
Joey's
Champ.
camp?
No.
Will Barton?
It's Will Barton. It actually is Will
Oh,
Barton.
no, really?
It's also Will the Thrill, but he's
you know
the
what?
People's Champ.
Eric Kareem wrote he did a great Q&A with Will Barton, just like quizzing him about different things. And this was one of the things that he asked Will Barton. So
Will's
you
dancer.
guys should check that out. Yeah. I don't recall at the moment. I read that like a week or 2 weeks ago.
That's fair.
A lot of
All right.
family obligations this weekend.
There's also Jake Puddle.
For Pirtle?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was like
That's
a
a one?
Game of Zones reference.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the popular
Yeah.
Game of Zones on Bleacher Report.
Was that sports funny for you?
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah,
was it real funny or sports?
It was sports funny. Yeah.
Okay,
One
that's
was sports
fair.
funny. Yeah, Jake Puddle. That's
Jake
a
Puddle.
1. Yeah.
That's a 1. I agree.
Yeah.
And then last one, Bubba.
Who is Bubba?
Again, I'll give you 3 guesses on who on the Raptors officially has a nickname that is just Bubba.
All right, let me pull up their injury report since everyone's names is on there right now.
Yeah, that's
Scotty Barnes?
no, man.
Oh, okay. Otto Porter Jr.?
It is Otto Porter
Oh
Jr.
my God.
Yes, that's correct.
Do you know the origin though? Is there an origin story?
By the way, I have not seen Otto Porter Jr. for months.
Okay, our behind the scenes
Not seen him in months,
Sportsnet
man.
research
I'm at
department for the
practice,
Raptors
I'm
Show
at
has
the
been
game,
lacking
I'm
today.
at other events. I have not seen that, man. Hope he's recovering, man.
Do you think Otto's watching the Raptors games? Like, I looked at you with a straight face, like legit question. No, like professionally. If you're employed by the Toronto Raptors, you're employed and you're currently on work leave
Yes.
due to injury, long-term work leave, where you're still, being paid.
Yeah.
Would you keep up with like with company emails and like tuning in, tapping in?
Are you
like,
asking me if Otto Porter's sitting around wiggling his toes watching the Raptors
no,
lose
like,
to the Pacers?
I know
think
you-
the answer is no.
No, I know you think I'm trying to make a joke, but
Yeah.
I really want to know. Like,
Yeah, it's a
your
no.
honest answer.
It's a no.
You think it's a no?
It's a no.
Okay.
All right.
All
Can
right.
we get to make or miss, or what's his last Asian
Oh,
heritage
okay.
month
No,
idea?
well, I was just thinking, we talking about the up and down Raptors season. I was just wondering because, I'm not sure how wide of a range of sports that you like to follow. I believe you're a soccer boy.
That's not what we're called. We are not called soccer boys.
Wearing your Stone Island, with the hooligans. But no, like Jay season is coming up,
I know.
the Rogers Center, shouts to Rogers, like being renovated. It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited to go back
Have
in
you
there.
been, and with Asian Heritage Month coming up in May, have you been keeping an eye on what Yusei Kikuchi has been doing in spring training? 18 innings, and he has 25 strikeouts and a 1.00 ERA. It's a redemption season.
Are you being for real right now?
No, yeah, because this all leads to I want to pitch, and I want to pitch the Jays, and shouts to my guy Ali Khan. I want you to throw out the first pitch at a Jays game in May during Asian
But you want
Heritage
me to
Month
do it, or do you?
for
you wanna
Kikuchi's
do it?
home start. I want you to do it. Yeah, I just
Oh,
want
no.
to show up and get a signed jersey from him. Yeah.
Well, you already have the jersey part, so you just need the
Would you
signature.
be down? No, I have Shang Yamaguchi. Those are 2 different pitchers, by the way.
These are 2 different Asians. All right.
All right.
Are either of them
Would
good?
you be down to throw a ceremonial first pitch?
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I don't think.
Okay.
Again,
We're gonna
once
make this
again,
happen.
You keep thinking
We're
that
gonna
we're
make this
celebrities,
happen.
but we're clearly not.
We're gonna make
All
this
right.
happen.
We are going to go to the make or miss segment. Wow, baseball talk was tough. Clearly, we can only do Raptors and
Can
no
we
other
edit
sports.
that off YouTube? Yeah.
Okay, make or miss. Everyone knows the rules. This is Alex's favorite game.
Yeah, I get so excited when I see this
Anytime I
thing
have
going
no
down.
more ideas on what to do for the show,
Yeah.
I just do make or miss for you.
No,
So
behind the scenes, I usually try to help with the rundown because Will has a lot of different responsibilities.
Not really.
But today, oh, you don't? Okay, then you handle more of it. But on Fridays, today he was like, after we did our show yesterday, did our banter pod, and he walked home with a whole, with an entire lobster from Hongqing.
Yeah.
Like he was like, yo, Alex, I got you. You've been doing a lot. I'm gonna set the rundown. And anytime you set the rundown, you put make or miss in there.
Yeah.
Like, what was the?
No, make or miss is like it's like when your parents are packing
This is
you
what I
lunch
want to
for-
ask you.
for
What was,
school.
when you were a kid, like
Yeah.
what was the one thing if they brought home as like food or something or something like what was the
Yeah.
most exciting thing?
Chinese bakery buns, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
so make or miss is our hot dog bun.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, that's
All
a pretty good analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, make or
Originally
miss.
from the Portuguese.
You agree with
Yeah.
the statement? It's a make. If you disagree, it's a miss. All right, first one.
Yes.
LeBron denied reports from Woj, from Shams, from Chris Haynes, saying that he was reevaluated and that he aims to return for the last week of the season. LeBron just literally went online and just said, "I don't know. God bless y'all sources." Okay.
Yeah.
So make or miss, players should just report this stuff on their own instead of having their teams, front offices, or agents leak it.
Yeah, I'm going to say miss on this just because it's going to get really messy if you leave it to the players. Because there's certain times when players feel like they're ready and then the team feels like they're not. And then there's
Okay.
different. And you remember
Okay,
the
fair.
Donovan Mitchell situation last year in the first round when I believe, he sat out the first game. But the team, I think, thought he was ready. There was some
Got you.
miscommunication there. So that's a miss for me. But my favorite from this part is if LeBron says that he's aiming to return for the last week of the season, it'll probably be tomorrow then.
Oh, okay. That's fair. That's fair.
This is like when he said he watched all the Liverpool games.
Oh, man.
No, but the real report I think I've heard, I've read online is that he's trying to be back for the last like 3-4 games of the season.
Yeah,
that's going to be really
that's
interesting
the
for the
report
Lakers.
from Woj Shams and Chris Haynes.
But
LeBron came out and shot it down.
But that's going to be really interesting because the Lakers are literally falling in and out of the play-in every game. Like,
well, it's fine as long as Austin Reeves gets to shoot 50 free throws a game. It's not a problem.
Did you see the NBA put together a YouTube highlight compilation? It's just said 1 hour of Austin Reeves highlights, and it was at the top of their page.
How many of those? How many minutes were from the game where he destroyed Gary Trent in LA?
Oh, no.
That was a tough one.
Anyways,
next one. Patrick Beverley said on his podcast that he always used to do step backs after practice while he was in Houston.
Okay.
And then one day James Harden came over and saw him doing it, and he talked to him about it. And he says that's where James Harden, who his signature move is to step back, if not the rip through foul and to draw for three. Make or miss, did Patrick Beverley teach James Harden the step back?
Yeah, so as I'm pulling up Patrick Beverley's page, career page right now, he averaged 5.6 points in Houston in his first season there.
Okay.
And but like, listen, people actually don't know. You should look up Patrick Beverley's high school stats. Like, he was a Chicago legend.
I'm sure he was, yeah.
No, like, the numbers were wild. It's a miss for me.
That's a miss, huh?
Because here's my case for this. Do you remember the offseason when James Harden tried to soft launch a one-handed 3-pointer? He had this really weird move.
One-legged three-pointer?
The one-legged three-pointer.
He'd be in the corner, too. So he would do a sidestep off of one leg like a stork and then jump out of bounds and then fling it in.
Yeah, like he was trying to work that into his game during preseason. So I'm going to say James Harden, one of the best scorers ever. According to Daryl Morey, a better scorer than MJ. Yeah, that's Michael Jordan that I'm referring to.
Right, of course.
That I'm going to say James Harden came up with that himself.
Yeah, the exact quote from Patrick Beverley, there was a time when he wasn't doing step backs. We were playing one-on-one, and my first 2 years in the NBA, and every move I did, I finished with a step back.
No way. There's no way.
He continues, "Hey, P, why are you always stepping back?" And I hit up a year ago, and he, who is James in this case, says, "Yeah, dog, you were onto something."
Okay.
It's Patrick Beverley. By the way, Patrick Beverley pod might be something to listen to. I might see a lot of quotes on there on NBA Central. It's like every third tweet is about Patrick Beverley.
It's either Patrick Beverley or a
Dylan Brooks.
photo of Dylan Brooks staring down a player, staring down Theo Pinson.
Staring down Theo Pinson, staring down a cameraman. You never
Speaking of the Mavs.
That's right. Speaking of the Mavs, so very, very strange play in the Mavs-Warriors game. The Mavericks, the officials called it Mavericks ball. Then during the timeout, they went to review it, and they actually flipped the possession to the Warriors ball. But apparently they didn't tell the Mavericks about it, or the Mavericks weren't made aware, because it was a very strange play. You had on one side where the Warriors were lining up on offense on one side of the floor. The Mavs were lining up on offense on their side of the floor, so nobody was remotely close to the fact that the Warriors inbounded under the basket and immediately scored with nobody in the front.
So an unfair 2 points.
They lost that game by 2, by the way. And so it's actually, Mark Cuban actually is protesting the game and called it the worst referee mistake ever. So make or miss, the refs are to blame for this mistake rather than the Mavs.
This is definitely a make. The protest was launched, and I think, you don't
think any one of the Mavs should have been like, hey,
But
there
was a clear breakdown in miscommunication, though, right? Like, I think they just assumed that it was like that was not the play that was going to happen, and that's a make for me. It's interesting. I saw Trae Young comment on this. I feel like other players have said this too. Is like, if refs make mistakes, they should be fined in the same way that players get fined. Is that a make or miss for you? Refs should be penalized for their misses instead of just showing up on the last 2-minute report.
How much do the refs make, man?
That's actually a really good question.
Can we just I don't know.
We will find out.
That's tough. I mean, look, listen, there is a human aspect to the game.
There is.
And I think the players would that too. But anyway, next one, make or miss. So the Charlotte Hornets, obviously they're struggling this season, but Charlotte Hornets tickets were priced as low as $1.
Oh boy!
In their loss to the Indiana Pacers earlier this week, make or miss, would you go to a Charlotte Hornets game for $1?
Need to ask a follow-up first.
Yeah, got you.
Am I parking next to LaMelo's car in that parking lot for $50 USD? Can I drive my 01 Honda Civic to the stadium for free?
By the way, the $1 is deceptive, because I think with taxes and fees and something else on top of it, somehow it came out to $14 when you end up paying. Okay, but ultimately it's $1. Would you go to a Hornets game for $1?
Try to clarify that the $1 is deceptive, as if with fees it's not like $2.25. This is literally the cost of a hot dog bun. Why did you have to clarify that?
I actually had a conversation with my partner the other day about, like, what can you get in Toronto for $1
Right.
And I actually don't think it's anything. So this is actually pretty impressive that you can go to a whole basketball game.
No, yeah. For a dollar make, I would definitely go to a Hornets game.
Really?
For a dollar. Yeah, just
gotta go see Nick Richards.
No, would you not go? You would not go. I think you would say depending on the opponent.
Yeah, it's probably depending on the opponent.
Okay.
All right, two more before we get to the Bet Rivers segment at the very end, where we talk about the Raptors game between tonight, with the Raptors playing the Pistons. All right, when asked about him losing $250K total in fines this season, Dylan Brooks simply responded, "It's just paper. Make or miss. Enjoying your life is more important than scrimping and saving."
Yeah, make. I wish all Asian parents would just, not put financial pressures on their kids and just say it's just paper. It's not a big deal.
That's fair.
It's a make.
And then the last one, Jimmy Butler admitted that he doesn't, quote, start playing for real until after the All-Star break. Make or miss, working hard all the time is overrated.
No comment on this, but
sorry, I'm trying to set you up so hard.
Yeah, this was a massive setup that I did not see coming. Jimmy Butler, though, this is his statement is a make because Jimmy Butler just somehow is like a 20% three-point shooter for the first 3 months of the regular season.
Yeah.
And then you look up his stats and it's like, oh, he's shooting 50, 40, 90 in his last 10 games. Coming into the playoffs. This always happens with Jimmy.
Jimmy's just one of those. No, it's legit. Jimmy's one of those guys where it's just any play you need, any shot you need, this guy just gets it.
Yeah.
And he's very terrifying to play against. We all know this.
We'll do Bet Rivers, but I just want to say about Jimmy too. Jimmy to me is nearly on that Dame level of just the scariest guys in the playoffs. And you can say that
you better pray Jimmy Butler doesn't win the championship.
You can say that Dame obviously has his iconic shots, but Jimmy's carried teams to the finals. And almost got them to the finals last year. And now it's time for Between the Lines, brought to you by Bet Rivers. It's a whole new game. The line for tonight's game is Raptors minus 14.5.
Wait, hold on. Are you serious?
Against the Pistons.
Minus 14.5.
Precious, Scotty, and Gary are all questionable. Before you overreact to the spread, can I tell you, in their last 3 home wins, the Raptors have beaten Denver by 15. They have beaten OKC by 17, and they have beaten Minnesota by 15. So
they have those 3 guys.
Yes, but all I'm saying is the last 3 home wins, they won by 15 plus, and it's also the Pistons with no incentive to win.
14.5. What do you mean no incentive to win? It's Dwayne Casey.
There's no incentive.
No. Just on the Casey cast.
Bojan Bogdanovic is out.
That's okay.
Corey Joseph is out.
Okay.
Rodney McGruder is out. Isaiah Stewart is out.
In the words of Draymond Green, ain't nobody care about it. Rodney McGruder.
Well,
okay? So
you cared about Aaron Nesmith's feelings the other day when 3 Canadians had to start.
No, so did Rick Carlisle. That was a very cool move.
No, shouts to Rick. I love Rick Carlisle. 14.5. The Raptors are favored. Need to bounce back from the Pacers game. In the thick of the play-in race. Who you picking, Will?
Listen, the Raptors better win. The Raptors better
that sounds
win.
like a threat. Yeah.
I guess it is. But no, seriously, I think. I don't know. There's just too many points for the Raptors. Again, the third unit's going to come in and they're going to start checking shots and,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're taking the Raptors to win, but the Pistons to cover.
Yes.
Do not trust the Raptors.
That's
with
one of the biggest
spread.
lines I've seen all season.
This is like when I bet $50 on the river, and you were like, "That's too much." That was Between the Lines, brought to you by Bet Rivers. It's a whole new game.
Wow, you literally bet on the river.
Oh wow.
Okay. All right. Well, that does it for us today. I've been your host, Will, and you're
show.
listening to this Raptors Show on the Sportsnet Radio Network. Make sure you find the Raptors Show wherever you listen to podcasts and subscribe, and please rate and review the show. Thanks once again to Savannah Hamilton, our producer and co-host Alex Wong, producer Derek Brandell, and Jennifer Rolnick with the YouTube stream. Have a lovely weekend, and watch the Raptors 2 games.